Good morning, guys. Dakota back with another live stream. The date is April 8th, 2021. And today we're going to get into another market analysis, live market analysis. Basically, for the week of April right now, every weekday, hopping on the charts or hopping on the live stream, talking about the charts that I'll be talking about for the week, and sharing just my ideas, really. And if you guys have any pairs that you want me to go over, go ahead, type in the live chat. I'll be sure to go over it before the call-ins. And if you want to talk about anything else, you can type in the live chat and we can go ahead and have a conversation. Now, I do post every chart that we talk about on here in the Discord server. So if you want to review them, go ahead and click the link in the description to join the Discord server. And also, if you like the stream, hit the like button, and if you want to keep up with future videos that I send out, hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and I will show you just how to do that. I have a very nice instructional little thing that pops up. Boom, that's how you do it, and you'll be notified when the next video gets posted. But now that all that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so I have a few setups that semi-interested in. The setups today aren't not really popping for me. Like, they're not really they're not too intriguing, right? They're just kind of setups that I'm not generally really interested in, and I don't really see myself actually entering today or taking an entry today necessarily. We'll see how the market unfolds, but right now, like, nothing's too interesting. But I do have a few good setups that we'll talk about. First, we're going to go ahead and review yesterday. And yesterday, the only two positions we had on initially, EURJPY, or only one position we had on actually, was EURJPY. Okay, and that was based off of a 4-hour setup. And yesterday, that actually hit targets. Ooh, that's a shame. Crazy, I didn't put that away already. Right here. Okay, so entered this trade about the 24th. Been holding it for about 2 weeks. Price hit targets finally yesterday and it reversed right at targets. We got a reversal candle there. Now, I did extend my targets up higher and my SL was here, and I was looking for price to actually continue up, and I actually am still looking for price to continue up. However, that reversal candle right at my target price really gave me a signal to say, hey, just close and secure profit. So I went ahead and did that, and just looking for another opportunity on here. Now, I will say there is a possible expanding triangle that could form. If you don't see it, I'll draw it out. So there's a possible expanding triangle. It's not in the ideal area that I would like to see it at, and it's not the ideal time frame either, especially with these equal highs here. Because based off the daily, it's formed a beautiful double top right now. Price did not close above these highs, so it's a beautiful reversal pattern as of now. But ultimately, I do see EURJPY still continuing up, but we'll have to wait for a signal for that to actually happen. If that trend line ever does break, I will go ahead and start looking for sales, but until then, continue looking for buys. Now, the next setup that I would look for here would be a correction at this moment, like a correction form here. But seeing that this high wasn't broken, entering off this correction is a low probability setup for me. I would have liked to see this high actually be broken before a correction forms, but we're gonna have to see what the market does and evaluate when things set up for us. All right, now before I get into the actual setup I'm looking at today on this pair, I want to first talk about exactly what I'm looking for. My fault. I want to first talk about my strategy. That's what I want to do. My strategy is just basic market structure, and market structure look for a strong impulse, a strong aggressive move in one direction. Doesn't matter if it's up or down. Okay, and what that's going to tell me is that the market wants to go in this direction. If I get an impulse up, the market's telling me it wants to go up. And if I get an impulse down, the market's telling me it wants to go down, right? Now, after that impulse, I'm waiting for confirmation that the market wants to go up. So imagine like a kid asking for a toy, right? This is what he wants. He wants this toy, but he has to wait for confirmation from his mom in order to get that toy. And that confirmation for us in the market is this correction. Right? Correction is just small consolidating candles moving the opposite direction of the impulse. That is my mom saying I can get a toy, right? That's the mom saying the kid can get a toy. Now, once she says yes, the kid gets the toy, is happy, plays with it. That's the continuation, right? That's what we want. We want the continuation. We ultimately want our equity curve to increase as a result of entering for that continuation. So obviously, I figure out the area where the correction is most likely to end. That helps me get tighter entries, things like that. And then obviously figuring out targets, things like that. So that's the basics of the strategy. Again, it's really simple, and it can be used on all time frames. And let's actually do a real example of all time frames. Is that what I meant to say? I don't think that's what I meant to say. I just want to show you guys an example, basically. So here we have a strong impulse. Okay, we have a strong impulse, we have a correction, small consolidating candles moving in the opposite direction of that impulse, and we got our continuation. Now that's great and all. Now and this off the daily, a lot of people aren't swing traders, so they're not gonna have the patience to hold this and all that stuff. So if you know, okay, there's a strong impulse on the daily, we're within a correction. If we go down to our lower time frame, let's say you trade off the 1 hour time frame, we look within that correction. We know ultimately we're looking for that correction to come down. We're going to be looking for impulses and corrections within this correction, right? So here we just have impulse, 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 slight correction. I'm not going to call that a correction. We definitely have an impulse here, and we have a triangular pattern, which is a correction. And if you look smaller inside of there, you have an impulse there and a flat pattern, which is a correction. You have a continuation, you have a correction, you have a continuation, you have a correction. Then you got a reversal pattern here, which is basically correct movement moving in the same direction as the impulse instead of the opposite direction. And then you must have got duped there. You probably got duped there too. But then there's an impulse and a correction. Jeez, I'm tripping. My fault, guys. I got lost. But yeah, so that's basically it. I didn't mean to overcomplicate it. Sorry if I did. But basically, that's all I'll look for in the market. And if you have any questions, I'll be sure to answer it. If I confuse the mess out of you, let me know. All right, but anyway, getting into the setup I'm paying attention to for today. EURJPY going down to the 1 hour time frame, looking for a day trade today. I'm not really expecting to enter on it today because I just needed to get back to a level. If it gets back to that level, I'll go ahead and enter. If it doesn't, whatever, I'll wait for another opportunity. This isn't the ideal time frame that I want to enter on anyway. But ultimately, what I want to see, I have a nice impulse here. I'd like price to come back up, retest this level, and then continue down. And that's pretty much it. That happens, that's an easy day, an easy 60 pips. If we get 60 pips there, that could give us an, I'm expecting a 3-to-1. Oh, a nice 4-to-1. Nice 4-to-1 opportunity. Ultimately, I'm looking for price to come down to this area. And if we zoom out, you can see why it's just a level of interest for me. All right, I won't go too deep into that. But yeah, that would be a nice 4-to-1, and that's if that happened, that would be let's just say that would be pretty nice. Let's do the full markup. No skipping steps. We're going to EURJPY on a different broker and doing the full markup on that. Looks like the setup that I drew up the other day for a possible buy did not happen. And let's see. Wow, that's actually interesting. Like, because I have that zone there, it kind of points out that there's a, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't trade that head and shoulders, but there's a head and shoulders there nevertheless, and the neckline got retested, so that was nice. Let's go to starting on higher time frames. All I use to box price in, or basically what I do is top down analysis. And how I do that, I box price in with horizontal lines and trend lines, and I start on the monthly, work my way down on time frames until I corner price into an area where it really only has one of two. At the end of the day, I wanted to have one of two directions that I could possibly go, right? And the two directions that could possibly go are up or down. And my lines are going to corner it so it says, okay, price has room to go up in this situation, or price has room to go down in this situation, because there's no lines in that area. All right, so have a roof, have a floor. Now going down to a lower time frame, I'm going to be drawing an uptrend. Let's see if we can do it on the weekly. Weekly we can, but I'm gonna draw it on the daily just so I can get more touches and so I don't have to readjust it after putting it on the weekly. Alright, there's our uptrend. Again, every single line that I draw on my chart is a zone. It is not a line, it's a zone. So that means I'm just looking for it to go in that general area. I don't necessarily need it to touch that line. All right, I'm not looking for it to touch that specific price point unless I'm looking at my entry zones. Right, other than that, these are just areas of interest for reversals. Okay, so boxing price in, we can see price basically has a trend line here. So if price comes down here, I'm looking for price to go up. If price comes up here, I'm looking for price to go down, right? Those are basically walls. There's basically barriers telling me, okay, price can reverse here, and that's what I'll be looking for in that situation. So seeing that the area where price has the most room to go right now is up. We have about 300, almost 300 pips available to the upside. Now price is really close to this trend line, so there's not a great opportunity there for a sell. It's only 100 pips. So what I'd like to see is price come down, test that trend line possibly. Again, I already got into what I'm really looking for on this pair, but possibly coming down, and then after it comes down and possibly gives that correction, we'll look for a buying opportunity for about 370, 380. And ideally, I like to see it price actually break out to this high up there. So if it continues past that point and we get this entry here, that would be a beautiful trade for about 850 pips. All right, if those words did not make sense, I can draw it out. And explain it at the same time. So ideally, all right, we got to wait for the market. Nothing's really happened for the market to do this yet, but ideally what I would like to see is a correction there, most likely on the 4-hour time frame, then impulsive movement going up, first hitting this level for giving us a 380 pip opportunity, and if price decides it wants to break through that area, I'll continue to hold and look for price to reach that 850 pip, well, that monthly supply level that we drew at first, which offers an 850 pip opportunity, which especially with this being a 4-hour setup, I'm going to consider this correction a 4-hour setup. the stop loss shouldn't be more than 50 pips for me on this pair. So that's a really great opportunity. If someone has the math on that, you know what? I have the math on that. Let's do it. About almost a 22 to 1. Which is a really good opportunity. So if you risk 1%, you gain 22%, but you obviously have to have the discipline to hold. All right, that's EURJPY. Oh, no, it's not. My fault. Forgot. We're talking about day trades today. Man, let me focus. Okay. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Just let me focus. So off the 4-hour time frame, price is scaling up, but price has started to make an impulsive move down. Again, possibly an expanding triangle. I'm not going to consider this expanding triangle just because of the area, so I'm going to ignore that factor of it. And I'm going to stick with a downtrend for the moment on a lower time frame. And essentially what I'm looking for is that downtrend to be broken before I start to buy. Again, with EURJPY, I'm long bias, so until that trend line breaks, I'm not really looking for anything else. Now, being on the 1-hour time frame, we can draw this short-term trend line here. With that short-term trend line, we'd obviously want price to correct to that trend line, and then reject and continue down. And the area that I would like for it to continue down to, I believe, was based off the daily time frame. If I'm not mistaken, it was. It's basically this area right before a lot of buyers came into the market, right before that big engulfing candle. And let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right before this candle, basically that wick, I'm looking for price to get down to. Now on the 1-hour time frame, once we get that correction, if we get that correction, would be a nice opportunity to sell if it happens, of course. All right, let's move on to GN. Now, after targets were hit on EJ, an opportunity on GN actually set up. On the same day I entered on GN, or on UJ, the 24th, I went ahead and set this opportunity up as well. Basically a strong impulse on GN, and I was waiting for a correction here and looking for an opportunity to buy. Yesterday, the signal to buy actually came in, and currently it appears we are in drawdown. But as long as these levels hold, we'll see how price reacts, and we'll evaluate as the market continues to form. Okay, a really nice signal here off the daily time frame. Yesterday, price closed as a doji, which is a reversal candle, and a reversal candle right on top of my level, so that's a pretty good signal for me. We'll see on a lower time frame to see if it's worth holding on to, or if we have confirmation for price to continue down. So let's go to a different pair. Again, if you have any pairs that you want me to go over before this call ends, or anything you want to talk about, whether it's a question or just a random topic related to trading, we can go ahead and talk about it. Just type in the live chat. All right, marking up GN, going to start on the monthly. Now, at the beginning of the week, was not interested in this pair at all, simply because I haven't been able to capitalize off many opportunities off this pair, at least for this, for the first quarter, man. So, took it off my list, but was still waiting for that daily setup, and when it came, it earned its spot back on the list. But I have no other setups actually set up for this pair other than a 1-hour continuation for the daily setup that we just talked about. And that is the only other position that I plan on taking if it happens. Not too special yet. On the weekly, essentially what I'm looking for are strong selling areas in the market. And I like this area right here because we got a rejection there Look further to the left, we have a rejection here, and yeah, it's a pretty nice area. And we have a weekly reversal candle. Let's go to the daily. On the daily, we can go ahead and draw an uptrend here. Can actually draw two, because there is a tighter one. And with that tighter uptrend, I'm going to go ahead and delete the longer term uptrend because it's not relevant right now until that trend line breaks. Now going down to the 4-hour time frame. Here's the chart. Now on here, I can see that I have a supply zone, don't have a demand zone, so I'm going to zoom out and find a new demand zone. And I like this area because there are major swings that happen from that area. And if price gets to that point, it'll be interesting to look for a buy. Okay, so now here off the 4-hour, we can get a pretty good idea of what we're looking at. Right now, we have a short-term downtrend right here, and price is at a critical area where there's some confluence here, right? We have a trend line telling us price is going to go up. We have an area of interest where telling us price wants to go up, but we also have a downtrend telling us price wants to go down, but it's a short-term downtrend on a lower time frame. And we also have a reversal pattern up here telling us that price wants to go down, right? So we have two confirmations, well, three confirmations telling us price wants to go down, two confirmations telling us price wants to go up, three confirmations telling us, geez, let me back up because I'm just running over my words. We have three confirmations telling us price wants to go up. We have an uptrend, we have a area of interest, and we have an impulse and correction, right? We have three confirmations telling us price wants to go down. We have a short-term downtrend, we have a reversal pattern, and we have a supply zone area, right? Which is this black line up here. And that's a confirmation to sell. Now, both of those are even, and if I trade it the way as far as like having them even, obviously that causes confusion. But simply, if we just keep it simple, we have an impulse here, we have a correction here, and I'm looking for price to continue up, and I'll continue looking for that until that trend line breaks. All right, that's basically what I do until the trend is over. We keep on looking for that setup. Let's go to, I would say, I didn't always used to do that. I actually used to anticipate these type of selling opportunities, like reversal opportunities. But pretty much last year, learned my lesson on that because I saw that a majority of the reversal patterns I were taking were actually losing, but it was just a satisfaction of like catching the reversal. There's a certain satisfaction that comes with that, at least with me. But definitely sticking with continuations now after I reviewed my first part of my second year. All right, so the continuation pattern that I was talking about on this, essentially the next opportunity that I'd like to see is price reverse at this trend line, break this downtrend, give me a correction, which would set up an opportunity to buy, and I'll look to buy at least up to this high, and we'll see how price reacts, and we definitely have to see how price reacts to this area. See if it rejects this area or continues past it. If it continues pushing past it, that's really good for us and allows us to continue to hold that position. If it doesn't, obviously we gotta find a way to get out. But this is the setup for today. I actually already have alert set for this one, and I'm going to go to my screenshot for it. And just so you basically have the same thing that I have on the markup I did today. So what I'm doing now is sending it in the Discord server. If you are not in the, if you want to go ahead and review and look at the screenshot for yourself, click the link in the description to join the Discord. Post all of them there in the D4X Outlook section. Let's go to reason. So just thinking about well, not thinking about, but basically I feel like not too focused at the moment, like at least keyed in or locked in. I'm finding myself having to continue to like redirect my thoughts on this right now. Personally, I did my my warm up and my routine this morning for the setups I already have, or the setups that I'm looking for, but I want to be focused on the live stream as well. So I'll try my best to do that for the rest of the time. Okay, GU's last pair that I'm personally going to be going over, at least in full detail. If you do have any other pairs that you want me to go over, type it out in the live chat. I'll be sure to go over it and at least share my idea on it before the call ends. So same thing as all the other pairs, just boxing and price. I'm gonna go ahead and draw an uptrend here. The markups are pretty much the same all throughout the week. So if you look at any other live stream during this week, or really the past 2 weeks at least, they're all pretty much the same. I don't like it. I'll just keep the top one. Okay, so here, just looking at the daily time frame, have a nice impulsive move here, and if we go to the weekly, we can see this whole thing is an impulse, and this is a corrective pattern. At least at the moment, corrective patterns at an area, at a demand zone, which is an area, a possible reversal area where price could buy at. And I actually been looking for a buying opportunity on GU for a while now, and I'd like to see price continue up. Ideally, I would like this to be more corrective movement, and possibly I'll get all the way down to this low again to form a double bottom opportunity. I think that would be a beautiful trade. And with that, if the opportunity comes, if all the confirmations are met, I would be targeting first this high here. Let me just go ahead and draw lines at the areas I'm talking about. First area would be that line there. Like that. With the green. Then the next area would be here, and the next target would be there. And those would be the 3 target areas that I would be paying attention to if that opportunity comes. But we just gotta continue to wait and see if everything sets up for us. Confirmations aren't there just yet. All right, let's continue down to a lower time frame, see if there's an opportunity to day trade this today. And it appears that there is. Let's go ahead and bring up a trend line. We have a downtrend here. Now with this downtrend, again, just waiting for the break of the trend line, looking for a buying opportunity and looking for buy, watching price at this area, and then if price breaks through, continue to hold to those levels like that we were talking about. All right. So those are all the pairs that I'm paying attention to. Real quick, beginning this week we talked about UJ. Let's see where it's at now. Looks like it's scaling down lower and lower and lower and not giving that buying opportunity that I was looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Delete that. Yeah, it's moving pretty aggressively down. Wouldn't start selling until this low breaks, or at least price gets to that low. If price gets to this low, I look for a correction and then look to sell. But yeah, that's a pretty strong. Those are pretty strong aggressive moves to the downside. So if this was on my list, I'd set this to the side until something clears up, at least on the higher time frames. Lower time frames, it's been pretty easy. Impulse down, correction, impulse down, correction, impulse down, and obviously wait for a correction again. And the next target area for that would be, again, like I said, this low, because there's no sign, there's no pattern there. There's no reason to buy at the moment. For me. Alright guys, I really appreciate you guys hopping on and watching the live stream. And again, if you guys ever have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, you can go ahead and comment in the comment section, or also join the Discord server and we can talk there as well. Pretty good at responding pretty quickly on there. And yeah, if you like the live stream, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. If you want to keep up with future videos, hit that notification bell for the next video that's coming out this Saturday. And I will catch you guys next time.